I'm Jenny D from Astrology Uncensored, and with me is the beautiful Cosmic Cannibal Camille. And today is Wednesday, July 22nd. It is 3:09 p.m. 2026, by the way. I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Camille is in Colorado Springs. What time is it there, Camille?
It is 1:09 p.m.
Awesome. And we are just minutes away from the sun entering Leo. And here we are doing our very first month ahead.
Yay! It's exciting.
Are you so excited?
I'm so excited.
I'm super excited about this.
I'm excited because there's a lot going on in August.
We thought that there was a ton of stuff that was going on at here in July. We are under the Barbo basket right now as we speak. Things are happening, things are growing, things are gestating. But, oh my God, August.
Boy, it is.
I'm personally looking forward to Venus entering Libra because, honestly, being Libra ruled, her little trip through Virgo every year makes me want to die. But I got through it this year. I'm hanging in there. We've just got like a few days left.
Yeah.
Then we start gearing up for the retrograde. So it's like,
yeah, that's one
what are we
thing
gonna do?
about Venus entering Libra is that does mean that we are getting that much closer to the Venus retrograde, which begins in October. But that's a couple months away. We can still enjoy it. I'm a little wary of some of the stuff happening in those like middle weeks of August.
Yeah.
Although I'm looking forward to Mercury in Leo.
I bet you are.
That's one that I'm like, yeah, okay. Because it's like we had Mercury retrograde in Cancer, lots of emotional processing, lots of like, what did you mean by that moments. Every time anything is in Cancer, I too want to die. So I feel like Mercury and Leo is like, okay, the lights are back on. Here's the microphone.
Yeah.
We have ideas. We have more sort of. I love what you said in your Leo season forecast about transition from Cancer into Leo, which is like we drop that defensive armor, but we're still sort of moving in the same. You phrased it better than I am.
You're doing great. So the way that I viewed it is that like while we are in Cancer season, we're actually putting our armor on. We're actually like expecting to be attacked. And now that we're moving into Leo season, we kind of have those calluses and that protective barrier around us, and we can go out there and really let loose and perform and try to enjoy what we're doing. Because it is August, we're coming up towards the end of summer. It's the dog days of summer. And, we have to go out and enjoy what we've got left of the good weather, if this is the kind of weather that you like. But, it's whatever. But yeah, we go out and we wield our weapons. Our sword is slashing through, but it's kind of like the weapons that we wield in Leo, kind of like ego-y, maybe a little prideful. And I talked about that in the article about how everything is kind of working together, and this can go either really, really great for us if we have the right attitude, or we can also let it sink us.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me and some of my private life, my personal stuff that I have going on, I'm already feeling this. Like lots of imposter syndrome, lots of just a whole bunch of yikes.
Right.
And there's great opportunities that are available, but at the same time, you're like, oh.
Right. Because like Right now, the sun just entered Leo, right? Oh, okay. And we're moving towards that opposition to
Right
Pluto.
now.
What's that?
I said right now it's
Yeah,
3:14.
yeah. And so we're moving towards an opposition to Pluto. So I think that is very it feels like we have to get through some sort of gauntlet of uh, dark matter to sort of catalyze our own I've been talking about Leo season as like a transformation arc because as we
Yeah.
head to August, we are like, okay, if I feel that imposter syndrome, I still have to show up for myself. I still have to show up.
Mhm.
I like my main thing with Leo season, especially in August, before we get into like the big, big, big moments of August,
Mhm.
it is that we have to really drop this idea of performing simply for validation, simply for applause. And I mean performing
I
in the
love that.
broadest sense. Like so many of us perform. We put a part of ourselves out either on social media or out in the public or in our relationships and we're doing certain things just to get the sort of like, yeah, here's the gold star, you're amazing. And we have to this Leo season in particular, we really have to just give that to ourselves because we might not get it.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that we aren't creative, we aren't deserving of a spotlight, or we aren't able to be confident. It just means that we have to really do that to ourselves first.
Right. Yeah.
I know. Like that's the thing. I
No,
get a lot of
who
Leo
wants to do that? No.
I get so many Leo clients, and that's the thing. I know that each of them, when they listen to the readings, they just roll their eyes because they're like, "That's not what I want to hear." But it's what we have to do. Like I have
Right.
3 placements in Leo. Like I live that struggle. It's not that we
Mhm.
are so naturally like, always confident. We experience life the way everybody else does, right? Everybody experiences life in very similar ways. But it's like we have to cultivate our own confidence in ourselves and not be shaken by not getting the gold star or not getting the approval or not getting the adulation from some audience. We have to be like, I don't give a shit. I'm still
Yeah,
fabulous.
exactly. Y
So
it's tough because, when you're doing something like this, or you are just going to work and living out your daily dream, like maybe you're actually doing for a living with the things that you want to do,
right.
and you're still experiencing some of that imposter syndrome or unworthiness or anything like that, this kind of sky is going to really poke at that, and it's going to challenge you, and it's going to ask you to really step into your authenticity and decide who you really are. Is this something that I actually really want to do, or am I doing this because, like you said, for that gold star? Am I doing this because I think it's enjoyable and it's what I really want to do,
Hmm.
or not?
Hmm.
um and if we are doing the latter,
Hmm.
I think we're going to get called out in a way that is going to be super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see that in very public ways coming
Yeah.
up here over the next couple of weeks and going into August.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, I completely agree with that. Like there was something in my stand-up comedy class last night. We had a guest teacher and she said, you have like, what do you want out of this? You have to ask yourself that question. And I feel like that applies to this is for everybody. What in your life, whatever goal you're pursuing, whatever career you find yourself in, whatever thing that you feel you've been dabbling in because we are under this new type of sky where we are doing new things and we're experimenting with life. I think all of us are in different ways. We're all kind of trying different things. And it's a really good question to ask yourself like, what do I want from this? It's okay for something to be a hobby. It's okay for you to not want to take this thing further if it's a business. if it's a book you're writing, you just are like, I just want to do this for me. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are wanting to do it in a bigger way and you want a type of recognition, because again, Jupiter's in Leo, Jupiter's expanding these themes of recognition and like, I want a spotlight.
Why are you looking at me?
Right. And you really have to ask yourself, if that is what I want, then am I willing to do what it takes to get that?
Yeah.
Like I love the thing that you're talking about calluses,
Oh yeah.
like I play the bass, and in order to get good at the bass, I had to callus my fingers by repeatedly picking up that instrument and learning it, and it hurts, right? Anything that you're doing is gonna like anything that's new, that is new to your ego, especially as if we're further along in life, it's like, oh, I forget that I'm bad at something. We haven't, and you have to get the callus, as you put it, to kind of get better at it. And so I think that that is a big theme of August.
I think you're right. And I think that a big part of this Cancer season that we have just said goodbye to had a lot to do with kind of like getting through those newbie nerves. Like, are we facing things because because we don't feel ready, but we have to, so we're forcing ourselves through it? Where is that excuse me, where is that payoff? If you have been working throughout this Cancer Sun season to really build something, like step by step by step, and over the next few weeks, in the last couple of weeks of July, if you are really feeling that and you've had your time to put the building blocks together, I think you're going to get some of that payoff starting in August. There's a lot of really tasty nuggets that we should probably just go ahead and jump into. Starting with Venus in Libra, and gearing up for her retrograde. But there's even things like later in the month, with Mercury finally entering Virgo and just getting out of Cancer, with the Pisces Lunar Eclipse. Like, these are things to actually be excited about if you're not freaking yourself out about them.
Which,
not that I would ever do such a thing, but whatever. But this can actually be really great. So let's start on August 6th. With Venus entering Libra. So what do you have to say about that?
So my thing with that is it's a kind of a two-pronged day, because that's also a day when the sun trines Saturn in Aries. So there's something very kind of constructive about August 6th. And Venus moves into Libra, and it's like, okay, we are done with the whole, I have to earn my worth, or I have to really feel like I have to earn my keep in order to just have what makes me happy. I mean, we all have to work stuff for a living. I'm not talking about that. But like with Venus and Virgo, it's very much like, oh my God, I'm just not satisfied with anything in my life right now. Everything needs improvement. And I'm so overwhelmed by everything that needs to be improved in my finances, in my creative life, that it's like, it's kind of just a headache. It feels like a migraine a little bit. And so Venus in Libra to me is it's an exhale, because Venus is it's like, okay, I'm at home. Okay, things can actually feel lighter. We can just kind of ease into things a little better. It's like we're leaving behind a clipboard. We're just kind of getting to the fun stuff again. And I think relationships can soften. I don't know if we can say immediately finances will improve, because there's just things going on in the world that don't necessarily agree with that. But I think the desire for harmony and beauty and like genuinely pleasant experiences day to day return. right? It's like, okay, this is easier to connect with myself. It's easier to connect with my partner. I find that I'm more social. I don't feel like I'm so nitpicky of myself. Like I think of those interactions that I have with people where I'm like, God, why did I say that? How come I'm just standing here? And you're just like so in your head about it, about all the things that
Yeah.
you're doing wrong. Venus and Libra's like, I'll just go and talk it up. No big deal.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I feel about it.
I think for me, whenever I think of Venus in Virgo, I think of like labors of love.
Yeah.
But it also goes back to what you were saying about, having to earn your keep.
Yeah.
And that also with your clipboard, Venus in Virgo to me is Pepper Potts from Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's very put together, and she is taking care of business as a way to show love.
Right.
She is mom so that Tony can go be himself, right? Things would not work at all if Pepper was not there to make sure that the bottom line was taken care of.
Right.
And I think in Libra, I think the word that you use, soften, is a really good word, because we're not so like, we don't have to pay attention to so many things.
Right.
What we are more conscious of is more empty trinket, right? Yeah. We're more aesthetically, like, are we being pleasant?
Yeah.
While we take care of our business,
right.
Are we being charming? I think that becomes a real important part of this time of year whenever Venus is in Libra, because it also, if you go too far with it, it can turn into doormat behavior. It can turn into people pleasing. Mm-hmm. And you have to kind of be careful with that, because harmony is a great thing to pursue, but it's never really attainable. And you can also have a level of diminishing return on it. So if you were constantly trying to smooth things over, which Venus in Libra does, if you're constantly there trying to do that, eventually you're just going to kind of like wear yourself out.
Right.
But the thing about Venus in Libra is that it likes to look good no matter what. So even if it's completely fried, it turns into, no, I'm fine.
Right.
No, it's okay. Everything's great. But I also think for any placement in Libra, the best revenge is looking good. And like for me, I might be a wreck, but if I look good, does it matter? Does it? If I look okay, if I'm happy with how I'm presenting myself, I'm like, well, at least I'm having a good hair day today.
Oh.
Like everything else could be a complete and utter fire, but my hair looks good, so
right.
It'll be fine.
I feel good because I look good and I feel good, kind of thing. It's like we're not running tests on ourselves or on our situations as much, because Venus is leaving Virgo and we're going, I'm like good with it. I love what I love, and I'm going to connect with people. And I really like August 6th for any type of creative thing that you are looking to either get some inspiration for. Like Venus in Libra is like, okay, your muse is back. And and as the sun trines Saturn, it's like, okay, well, if you're working on something, I don't care if it's a literal creative project or just a goal. Oh, I have some inspiration. I have a muse. I have the power to kind of give it some structural backing today. This thing that and you might just notice too, it's like, I just believe in this thing a little more today. And I'm willing to put in the work because I have the muse, I have kind of the inspiration back, and now I have a better plan. So I'm going to go for it. Like I'm going to move forward and I feel good about it. It's a very sort of constructive day.
Yeah, it is. And with how it hits everybody's chart differently, depending on where Libra is in your chart. You know, you might just feel a little bit extra amiable, a little bit more charming, or just, you know, whatever. I can be happy doing whatever. Like you actually might not have an opinion on something for once. It could be things could actually not matter to you, and it's not like indecisive. It's just I don't care. I don't have a skin in the game. I don't have anything. I win either way. So yeah, we'll go out for sushi instead of dim sum. You know, it doesn't, whatever.
I love
or
that.
you know, if it's in the second half. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I love that too for you know, creative stuff or getting your work done, whatever you're working on, you know, like literally at work. You're less sort of like toiling and like, oh, this just isn't, it's not perfect. And more, I think you're more open to receive ideas as they come and more willing to sort of experiment with both sides of them. You know, you think of like the scales of Libra. It's like, I'll take a little bit of this, I'll take a little bit of that. I find Venus moves through my third house in Libra. Any Libra transit, I tend to be like, it's like I have so much more fun writing, you know, and communicating. It just feels like it's kind of like a burden comes off of me. It's easier for me to relate to people, like just talking to people. I have more, like I said, more fun writing. I do feel that there is a lot more just inspiration, a lot more ideas, right? Because Libra's an air sign. And, you know, if we're talking about like culturally, because Venus can be like the planet of social justice and what we suddenly are, those themes that we're noticing in throughout August, we're looking at the themes of like equality and justice. And I think that's going to be a big, I mean, we're always thinking about that, but it's going to be more pronounced, you know. I'm trying to think how we've noticed that with Venus and Virgo, and I can't come up with anything. July's just been a bit whirlwind, you know.
I think a really good way to see how it's building up is through the Nolan Wells case. You can see that, you know, there's been paperwork that's been put in. There's been 2 autopsies that have been done. That's very thorough. That's very Venus getting into the nitty gritty. And it's been his mom that's been pushing and pushing and pushing.
Right.
So now that we are coming out of Virgo, and the autopsy was actually released today. The second autopsy was actually released this morning. And there's a lot of questions about it. So if we are looking for a transit to watch in conjunction with an event that's actually happening on Earth, I really think that this Nolan Wells case is something worth keeping an eye on, because like you were talking about with social justice, as Venus goes through Libra and Venus starts retrograding, there's going to be developments there. It's obviously impossible to say right now what those developments will be, but we are most likely going to be in this for the long haul, and we should be.
Well, and there's also something to be said about, you know, Venus is at home in Libra, so it's like, it's undiluted, right? Undiluted expression. While Venus was in Virgo, it was pulling that influence from Mercury retrograde. So there was a like confusion, things aren't adding up. Like we can't really, we want to math this, you know, Virgo's like all about the data and the numbers, but like we can't because something is missing. And so I completely agree with you. I think if that is how if something like that is happening in your life where it's like, I just can't quite, not everything feels like it's there. Beginning August 6th, I think we move into a point of more sort of, I hate to use the word clarity, but more, I guess, things making sense.
Yeah, I mean, with Mercury and Cancer, I mean, you're just not seeing anything. There's too much emotion. There's too much water.
Right.
And so I think clarity is actually, I think that's right.
We can use it. We can use the word.
Yeah.
So speaking of Mercury, we go to August 9th, right? Mercury enters Leo, and that's where we are like we're not interested in the nuance, we're not interested in hedging, we're not interested in like, oh, yeah, I feel this way about it, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. I feel like they hurt my feelings with it. Like we're not softening our messaging into meaninglessness. We are saying the thing directly. We're saying it with hopefully more confidence, but mostly considerably more flair than might be necessary, you know? And,
What
and then also,
what a
like,
word.
can I get a round of applause for that? Please,
Yes.
like we are, we're ready to, we're ready to just kind of say the thing, write the thing.
Yeah.
If you work in media, which most of us kind of do now, because social media is a part of that, but um, this is going to be helpful for like, here's the microphone, broadcast your thing, put it out there, like get your PR going. August 9th.
Yes.
Like this, it's a short time. Mercury doesn't stay in Leo for very long, but after all of that messy emotional processing, the sentimental revisions, the like, okay, I'm feeling my way through all of this data and these plans and this messaging, or I need communication. Mercury and Leo's like, here's the microphone. What do you have to say?
Yeah. And I think, on the flip side of that, we might also start feeling more entitled to take up space.
Yeah.
There are potentially a number of different issues that are going on that we need to vocalize about.
Yeah.
We need to stand up for. All the fire signs are really being activated with conviction.
Yeah.
With Neptune being in Aries,
Yeah.
because that is trying everything, and it's still in very early Aries. So
Right.
the trine from that is really going to say, well, this is what I believe in, and I understand that you're allowed to have an opinion, but it's not as important as my opinion.
Yeah.
And the words that we have are potentially going to be carrying a lot more of extra meaning.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of topics that we're going to see are going to come back down to, what is valuable, what is worthy, what is worth. And this will even come into concepts of morality and what do I believe in, and what if I believe in that, why would I not get on top of the roof and scream it?
Right. And
Why am I going to stay seated?
I think also, and I forgot to bring this up when we were sort of talking about the big theme of August, but when we think of Leo, we think of a lot of different things. I love everything that you said, so I'm not going to like add to it. I'm like, that's wrap it up in a bow. But leadership, talking
Yes.
about, not like, also, yes, leadership in the world, 100%. That is a huge theme, how we lead, but also how we lead in our own lives.
Mhm.
And I think Mercury and Leo is like, okay, do I have the courage now to say the thing that is going to help me become more of the leader in my own life? Not in a way that's like I'm squashing other people down, but we all need to take the lead in our lives to really go after what we're trying to do, or even if it's just for now, what we're trying to do for now, right?
Yeah.
And are we willing to take that mic, and are we willing to write the thing? Are we willing to say what's really on our mind, even if it's just to ourselves? Not everything is about like, okay, put it on social media, but are you willing to have that conversation with your partner? I think one of the things that Mercury and Leo might struggle with is listening.
Maybe.
Like, no. I'm speaking, we're all,
That's funny.
but I will say, like, one of my best friends, she is a Leo, and she has Mercury and Leo. She's brilliant. So, and I mean, like, sharp-witted, hilarious, but so direct in what she is trying to communicate. And I think that that's something that we should all sort of strive for with this
Yeah.
transit. Just that sort of sharing your own brilliance, your own light, and articulating it in a way that's very direct and very not confrontational. I don't want to be extra confrontational, like unnecessarily confrontational, so that you are able to lead towards,
Yeah. It's
whatever.
it's really all about stepping into your power
Yes.
and being all about, and I think that that's actually a theme for every Leo season, but because Jupiter's involved with this and we've got Pluto and Aquarius pushing back on it and everything else that's going on up there, this is really about saying like, okay, I understand that you and you and you and you all want me to conform to what you think, but I need you to shut up and listen to what I have to say.
Right.
And you can keep on thinking whatever you want to think. But I think that you're wrong. And let me show you here's why.
Yeah.
And
I want to add to that because you're pointing at something that I think we're both maybe talking around, which is that both Venus and Mercury connect to this Barbo basket stuff that's going on. They both make aspects to those outer planets as they in the first week that they enter their signs. So there is something that we are communicating about this thing going on right now. The cycle that you might be experiencing, the new beginning you're experiencing, the transformation you're experiencing. Venus helps to soften that. Venus helps to maybe even turn it into a creative idea or some sort of desire. Oh, this is what I want to call into my life. And then Mercury, like, this is the thing I need to say or write about it, or this is the thing that the idea, the mindset that I need to have.
And the thing with Mercury here too, even though Leo is such a fixed sign and it's so stubborn and it's so focused, Mercury's all about duality. So if we notice that we have a lot of options in front of us and we're feeling like everything needs our attention, then I would say don't be afraid to give attention to whatever you want to give attention to.
Yeah.
You are being called to really discover what you want.
Yeah.
So that you can pursue it.
Yeah.
And it might be scary at times, but that's kind of like the heart of the lion too, right? That's the sun in Leo saying and Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah.
But everybody's there saying like, I have this audience is judging me, this, whatever I'm doing at work, or even if I just want to change my hair to something that is not normally what I would do, what's everybody going to think? Well, I don't care what anybody's going to think because this is my time. This is how I'm expressing myself. And I can be both serious and empathetic, but also fun and flirty. You can do both.
Yeah.
And I really think over the next month, 6 weeks, we're really going to feel that call to do what we want. We're going to have a lot of shoulds. There's going to be a ton of shoulds back here. I should be doing this, but what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Focus on want.
Right.
That is the best thing. And especially, if you're traumatized, if you have a little bit of PTSD or CPTSD or anything else going on in your background, that's really hard. It can be super duper and nutty hard to say, just to admit, what do I want?
Right. Yeah.
That can be a lot of work. So use this sky right now through the end of August to say, that's it. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to pursue. Right. And if it doesn't work out, If it doesn't work out in 2 weeks and you change direction, great.
Yeah.
That's what Mercury is telling you to do. You're being asked to commit to something, but it's almost kind of like an unserious commitment. Like, we can commit, but we can always change direction later. That's exactly what's going on right now,
Well, and that's the thing,
in my
like,
opinion.
I love it. That's the thing with Libra that I don't think we talk enough about, is that Libra likes to change. It's
Yeah.
like, let me change the viewpoint. I need to change my surroundings. I need to change, there is a need to shift and move and explore things from other places. And so that might be your wants that you are exploring from different perspectives and looking at what you want in different ways. And I love that. I'm like, I don't have anything else to really add to that. I really like the astrology of August 13th, 15th, and 17th for all of what you were saying, because it involves Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. So
Yeah.
those are really good days for, like, I want to say expansiveness, but in the sense of personal expansiveness. I think sometimes when I think of expansiveness, I'm thinking like PR, putting something out there, posting something, launching something, and you can absolutely do that. But getting this personal boost of like, okay, this is right for me, and I am giving myself permission to want it, or being open to kind of like, you think of Mercury and having the antenna, and like, what is it saying? What messages are you needing to hear in regards to what you want, in regards to how you can take the creative lead in your life? I like those days for being receiving some sort of message, or having like a really great moment for your writing practice or your book idea or whatever, something involving communication, but communicating with yourself. Like, Leo is like, what about me? And I think, like, just, I had this idea. I think a lot of that Leo stereotype of it's so self-involved comes from Leo's need, or Leo feeling the obligation to always perform. So if you're always
Yeah.
performing for other people, you are going to be like, well, what about me? But if you are filling your own cup, and you are being like, these are the things I know I'm good at, these are the things I know I want, you're not going to be so like, well, what about me? I think it's easier.
Yeah, because you're giving yourself what you want.
Exactly.
That's how you get that validation, the validation, by living up to your own standard, as opposed to trying to prove something to somebody else. I think that is a major dynamic in anything involving Leo.
Yeah.
But right now, specifically,
Yeah.
that's going to be really, that you're going to need to get some daylight between that. And we're going to see a lot of people who can't do that.
Yeah.
There's going to be some messes, and they're going to be kind of loud, and it's going to have a lot to do with the people who are trying to prove something to themselves by proving it to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, we're very impressed. We're very impressed.
I feel like we are reading Leo. Like, we are spilling the tea on the psychology of Leo right now. And I think that is going to come out. Like, the thing you say about self-concept and self-validation, that comes from your mind. And that's what Mercury and Leo is really like. If you want to work with it in a very, 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 very constructive way, where you're not posting on social media every thought and word that spills into your head just because you want people to go, oh yeah, that's how you do it. But that week of August 9th, that's when Mercury enters Leo, and there's so much that surrounds everything that we've been talking about. And that need for, like, you have to validate yourself and stop looking for the gold star, looking for the applause, looking for the follows, looking for the whatever that is external validation. Because if you don't, you're going to be hurting for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I'm talking about that solar eclipse in Leo, and also
Yeah.
Mars in Cancer, because those are the other two things that are like,
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to mention, because you hit on something like the whole posting on social media and trying to get validation and all of that. I think the days that we are really going to see some stuff hit the media,
yeah,
as in the social media,
Yeah.
it's going to be August 9th, 10th, and 11th. Because on August 11th, Mars exits Gemini.
uh-huh.
And while it's still in Gemini and it's still aggressively telling Mercury to raise its voice,
yeah,
there's going to be this prime messy season.
yeah,
And once Mars enters Cancer, Mars doesn't do particularly well in Cancer.
no,
I always kind of imagine running underwater
yeah,
with Mars, or like, if Mars is a flaming sword, it gets doused whenever it goes into a lake.
right,
Because there is the anger and the frustration, the vibration that Mars brings to everything gets suppressed or gets quelled, and it's not able to express itself the way that it needs to or the way that it wants to.
Mhm.
And so the way that it does that is through passive aggressive means. We get real passive aggressive when
And that,
Mars is in Cancer. And I always go back to Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar himself has Mars in Cancer, but when he was performing at the Super Bowl in 2025, Mars was retrograde in Cancer.
Mhm.
And I remember watching that performance and being like, this is the start of something. This is the start of something huge. Whatever is going to happen after this. And now here we are, a year and a half later.
Mhm.
And the entire thing was, is he going to do They Not Like Us? Is he going to do They Not Like Us? And then he looks right into the camera and he says, hey, Drake. And now look at us. Look at how far we've come over the course of that many months. I can't believe, like, when that really hit me while I was writing this and thinking this through, like, that was a Mercury retrograde too.
yeah,
That was Mercury Kazemi
yeah,
when he was the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Look at where we're at. And now Mercury is stationing direct. And shameless self-promotion, if you have followed my work,
Mhm.
you know how much Mercury retrogrades and Mercury Kazemi's tie into Epstein file news.
Yeah.
And now here we are stationing direct.
Mhm.
Like, that in and of itself says a tremendous amount about how Mars in Cancer is going to show up, where we all know what you're doing. At this point, we're just baiting you in to sue us
Mhm.
so that we can call you a bitch.
It's true.
Yeah.
Mars in Cancer is it's not the worst placement in the
Yeah.
pantheon of placements, but it does in fact struggle. And one of the reasons why I think it struggles, like you said, you had great imagery for it. You have that symbol of Mars, that's like Mars wants to just go, wants to attack. But Cancer is the crab, so it zigzags. It's like, no, maybe I can't. So there is this as we enter sort of the middle of August, there is this kind of like, oh well, I can't. I want to go this way. I got to go back this way. We're going forward. We're retreating. We realize this is actually over here. And I do find it kind of conspicuous that Mars enters Cancer, and then the day after that, we have that solar eclipse in Leo.
I know.
And
And
It's
you've got
conspicuous
Mars
because
is in there messing with the moon.
yeah, exactly. That's really why it's just kinda like, I think that that solar eclipse is just gonna be very I've been using the word tenderizing, like, it's just, like, tenderizing for leadership,
Tenderizing.
tenderizing for the performance crap, tenderizing for that celebrity culture idea of someone being better than somebody else, and Mars in Cancer just kinda feels like the
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Yeah,
just like,
like it's needling you to try to climb.
yeah,
You're going to be a climber whether you want to or not. And these are Fiona Apple's soft sole shoes
yeah,
that she wants to hand you.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and
it's
so yeah, on the one hand, I'm kind of relieved Mars is exiting Gemini because it means it's not gonna be so close to Uranus, so we're not gonna have that sort of, like, discombobulation that we felt through a lot of July, but with Mars entering Cancer, it means it's going to square Neptune. It's gonna, does it have interactions with Venus at all, or is Venus too far along? I think Venus is too far along. But we're gonna
I
have
didn't notice.
a square to Saturn too. That's like that doesn't happen until September, but Mars is just kind of we're in this place of like, ugh,
Yeah.
passive aggressive. Like we don't know how to express our anger as well.
Yeah.
We don't know how to. It's sort of like we feel very phlegmy, when you
Yeah.
feel like, ugh, ugh, kind of. That's how
Yeah.
I feel. It's like, and that's no shame on anybody who has Mars in Cancer. Like that's
Oh,
just the way it is. It's just
yeah.
kind of waterlogged, like you said, and it doesn't feel. We don't feel as energized. I guess I don't know.
I, I think there's motivation there, especially if you have a night chart.
Yeah.
I think there's good motivation there, but I think that our motivation is it's less actionable and more strategic.
Right.
We're sort of sitting back and observing and baiting to a degree and saying, okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to do anything.
Right.
So, again, as with everything, it goes all ways.
Yeah.
So it's most likely that there are going to be events, incidences, occurrences, things that happen that are going to agitate Mercury and Leo.
Yeah.
And even though these two they're not looking at each other right now, they're in aversion, there's still going to be plenty of opportunity through the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
Over the course of the entire month. And as we go through the lunar cycle for us to be really pissed and then having to decide whether or not we're going to talk about it, or for us to be really butthurt and decide, are we actually butthurt, or is this something that we need to make a stink about? I feel like there's going to be a lot of internal and external turmoil over stuff like that.
The thing
and with Venus and Libra, we're going to want to just smooth everything over. So I think it's probably good advice to choose your battles wisely and also focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you think you should want, and don't focus on trying to impress anybody else, because they're not going to be impressed. They're just going to yell.
Yeah. I think
they're
like
going
one
to
I wrote down
want to make you doubt yourself.
Exactly. Like with Mars in Cancer, we are fueled by emotional safety. We're fueled by, belonging somewhere. And so that can be really motivating because you are finding, oh, I want this thing because it makes me feel I belong. But to your point, don't want it just because other people want it for you. And that's where
Right.
they, right?
Right.
And then the other thing I wrote down with Mars and Cancer is that we can, you can kind of do petty pouting, like we can go petty. And Mercury and Leo is a little petty. We can be some, a little catty. But do we clam up in defensiveness when we don't get what we want? Or do we take the initiative to meet our own needs? I think that's a really big theme for August, is like meeting your own needs and not expecting the audience to meet them, or not expecting everybody to understand you. There's a thing with Cancer. I mean, I say this as someone who has Cancer placements. It's like, I want you to guess how I'm feeling. You got it wrong.
Happiness.
You don't really even know me. Like, we're kind of just like putting everybody through that psychic scan instead of just being like, I feel hurt. I feel like a baby, and I'm sorry that I feel this way, but it's how I feel. Like, there's nothing wrong with admitting that we got hurt by something, but do we have to be reactive? No. We can be proactive and just be like, oh, this thing, I feel this way because this part of my needs didn't get met, and this is how I can meet those needs for myself.
We can be
and I think
curious about ourselves instead of everybody else.
exactly. And that solar eclipse, I'm not excited about it because it's very close to my ascendant, but it's a south node eclipse. So it's an ending that can create a new beginning. Ending, we want to think of that word very generally. I'm not saying that anything in your life or everything in your life is just going to come to a close. But in the Leo part of your life, something needs to be released. We think of it as like unclogging the drain. We're releasing that performance. We're releasing that like need for external validation and
Right.
like ego-driven validation,
Right.
unhelpful self-doubt, that feeling of like, I'm never enough. I never get anything, blah, 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 blah. Or you're letting go of like an identity that just isn't who you are anymore. And with that Mars and Cancer thing, it's really important, I think, for us to be a little more reflective. It's when you have that Leo energy, there's like this need to perform and to be out there and to post something. It's got to be public. But I feel with that solar eclipse, it's a new moon, so it's like, just like go dark. Like, you don't need to publicize every single thing that you're going through. Just, publicize it to your journal kind of thing. Process your
Right.
feelings in
Yeah.
private and let it unfold. Like, don't worry about what is ending or whatever. Like, what is gonna unfold is going to unfold. And we're gonna notice it in that, second week of August. Oh, this is the thing that really I just need to clear away. This is
Yeah.
it. Gonna clear away kind of on its own.
Yeah.
I don't have to accelerate the process.
Something that I found online.
Mhm.
The Leo solar eclipse is a south node eclipse, which means it's a loss that creates a new beginning.
Mhm.
In Leo, the loss is related to monarchs, autocrats, and or bombastic leaders, and the rise of something more modern and people-oriented.
Yeah.
Do you know who said that?
Who?
You did.
I was gonna say, is that me? It
Yes.
sounded like me.
It was you.
Okay.
And I even texted you about this. I have not been able to stop thinking about that. I've honestly just been so a loss that creates a new beginning. And while I've been reflecting on that, I've also kind of I started going into I go deep about what loss is. What does loss mean? Loss can be a death. Loss can be something's missing. But it can also be a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Sometimes we hold so closely to things like pain or fear that it becomes a big part of our identity. And at times we have to ask ourselves, what happens if I lose this? We can sit here and we can say, I'm too scared to do that, or I don't want to do that. And it's because we're too afraid to do it. What happens if we do want to do it and we actually stop making the excuses? We lose the excuses and push ourselves to try something new. We push ourselves towards that new beginning. There's a lot of bravery in something like that. And it can be over the smallest things. For some people, just changing your routine a little bit is something that needs A, to be done, but B, it requires bravery in order to do it.
Yeah.
Commitment.
Yeah, the courage to commit.
Yeah, you have to commit. You have to commit to saying, okay, I'm going to stop drinking, or I'm going to stop smoking, or I'm going to actually look for a therapist, or I'm actually going to go out and try to make friends because I'm tired of being at home all the time. I have common interests as a lot of other people, so I want to find a social group that I can enjoy my life with, someone who just gets me. For some people, it's going to look different for everybody, but it's something to lean into, even if it is terrifying.
Especially if it's terrifying. Like, that's what I mean when I say it's going to be a little tenderizing, because let's be real, right? To do anything in your life that feels impossible, or it requires a tremendous amount of bravery or courage to show up for yourself, it is tenderizing. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, I'm brave. You don't feel brave in the moment. You're just like, okay, I just know I have to do this, and I'm just gonna do it. And I'm gonna feel all sorts of vulnerable and raw, and but that's what you have to do, so you do it. That's really what courage is. It's doing the hard thing, not without fear, but in spite of it.
In spite of the fear, it's knowing that the fear is guiding you to where you need to be.
Right.
I think a lot of times people confuse the emotions of fear and bravery, because bravery feels like fear.
Yeah.
Bravery requires you to push through every ounce of your being to say, no, this is what I want. This is who I am. And this is what I want to do.
Right.
And having that, recognizing
it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of discomfort in trying to push yourself towards something else, or to something big, or to say that you are worth more and asking for a raise, or admitting to yourself that you're actually not a horrible human being.
Right. Or like quitting alcohol or something that has been really an addiction or some sort that has been tied to your identity, and you're like, well, who am I without this? But it takes a tremendous amount of discomfort and bravery to say, I'm willing to find out. And I think that's kind of that's another theme that Eclipse is like, we have to be willing to go into that darker space of the place where we don't feel the bravery, we don't feel the confidence, we don't feel so certain of ourselves. But there is a lot of, I hate to use this word because it feels cliche, but wisdom in that place of ourselves to be like, yes, but like you said, this is what I want. And so I have to be willing to shed that anxiety, shed that fear, that identity that is preventing me from getting to that place. Saturn is helping this solar eclipse out. It's in helpful contact with it. It's making a loose trine. And so I like it for, like you said, making a commitment. It's like, you don't have to do it like the day of, like, okay, I commit thing. But I think that if you're willing to face that part of yourself, to do that, intense self-reflection to understand that this is what I want, this is what I need to release, there is a little bit more support to be like, yeah, okay, there's a buttress of,
Buttress.
commitment or
Yeah.
like vow that you're kind of making internally to be like, yeah, this is the direction, or this is the thing for me.
Yeah. I think, and while I was thinking about this too, that I always think in like pop culture or musicals or something, and I thought of Annie
Yeah.
and how the sun will come out tomorrow,
Right.
because it's gonna get dark if you
Yeah.
challenge yourself. What's the saying? If you're comfortable, you're not growth.
Yeah.
So if you know that you are putting yourself in harm's way, like not actually, but if you're emotionally putting yourself out there,
Right.
then you're going in the right direction. And to your point about Saturn, something that one of the visuals that I have for Saturn is, because Saturn, according to Ptolemy, is very cold and dry. Well, what happens to something that is cold and dry, like ice, when you plop it into Aries, which is an inferno? It's going to melt. Right. And so any commitment that, and it's also going to start retrograding here in a minute, but any commitment that we make right now it's on wobbly enough legs that we can always refine it later. And that is something that Venus does really well in Libra, is refinement. It's understanding what's going on and then saying, okay, this needs done, this needs done, this needs done. And then we're going to have a more pristine project. We're going to have a product that we can give to people and feel good about. Right now, it's going to be ugly.
It's still a work in progress.
Yeah. It's okay for things to be ugly.
Yeah.
A lot of people are ugly. They're getting through life as much as they can.
Yeah.
But, there's Venus in Libra is going to show us how we can polish and shine and put makeup on and really,
judge ourselves up,
put ourselves together. Yeah, judge. Yeah. We're really judging.
Yeah.
And as much pressure as we are going to feel internally while we're trying to push through this, our facade is going to be lovely. We can still ask for what we want, but we're going to have enough charm and charisma and so much charm that we'll be able to make demands in a way that we probably wouldn't be able to get. We wouldn't be able to do at any other time. So we may as well just try to be blunt. Yeah. And if someone doesn't like it, well, that's fine. Keep going. Because the Mercury-Jupiter conjunction that happens on August 15th is buoyant. Yeah. It has a resilience to it. Right. So we can either double down to save face, or we can just change direction because it's not going to matter.
Well, and that's what I like about the 13th, 15th, 17th. It really does fit that Annie theme that you bring up, because it's like you have the 12th where it feels like, oh God, I don't think it's going to be like that terrible. I think just internally we're processing a lot about our creative potential, our place in life, our leadership, that kind of stuff. And so it might feel a little tenderizing or momentarily bleak, because again, you're like, wow, this is the truth about myself and this is the thing I want to commit to. And then after that, it's like Mercury meets up with Venus, and then it meets up with Jupiter, and then Venus meets up with Jupiter. And so there is just this buoyancy that we have, that kind of bounce back of like, everything's fine. I can do
it's a super ball.
Yeah, like I can swing this. I can do it, And then so that carries us into the next half of August. So we're still like in eclipse season. I'm not mad at that lunar eclipse either.
I'm not. Yeah.
I should be because I'm a Pisces moon, so I should be like
Yeah.
screaming.
You're getting it from all sides on this one, huh?
Yeah. But I'm kind of like, it's, let's just cry it out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I was kind of upset yesterday and I cried. And then when you cry, you feel better.
Yeah.
Like
There's
that's
an emotional release. There's actually a chemical release that happens in your body that
right.
says, okay, I'm over this now. So
Yeah.
cry. Go cry.
Yeah. It's when you sit there and you like hold it in and you don't let yourself cry. Mars is going to be in Cancer at this point. The moon is in Pisces. And I'm speeding ahead. I didn't mean to go to the very end of the month, but that's on
That's okay. We can double back.
yeah. And so there's some water there.
Yeah.
So just let it out. Like cry it out. Cuz let's be honest, Leo is a very dramatic sign, very much about self-expression, right? And very much sometimes in need of a tantrum. And I think once we reach that solar eclipse on the 27th, it's like let yourself have a little tantrum, let yourself cry. Just release it. Whatever is
Mhm.
frustrating, whatever is like annoying you, this lunar eclipse is just like, let's let it go, you know?
Mhm.
But I want to
And
hear baptism.
yeah, well, I think, jumping back to the 15th
Hmm.
and the Mercury Jupiter conjunction, I think that there is going to be something I wrote down was righteousness of creative action. So if we believe in ourselves, which we should because we're awesome, but if
Yes.
we really believe in ourselves, uh, if we are challenged, which we will be
Hmm.
because of Pluto and Aquarius,
Hmm.
if we're challenged, we're going to be able to stand up and say, I can make an argument. I can tell you exactly why I'm right to do this thing.
Yeah.
And if you do not like it, you can shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah. And you are going to be able to get a lot of reward for performance and performative speeches
Hmm.
that you might make. So, if you have to monologue at someone, make sure to do it on August 15th.
Yeah. It's funny.
If-
I'm actually going to be filming that day. So that's,
oh,
that's
you
like,
better put them in line. Just let them know. Get everybody ready.
like I
Um,
get to be on camera then. So that's perfect.
oh, but even better. Yeah. No, there are something else I wrote down was payoff for insights.
Mm,
So yeah, get it, girl.
yeah.
That's huge.
It's funny because the role I'm playing is also, an emotion, it's depression. Like, I get to really let it out, you know? I
Listen
was
to me,
thinking
okay?
what's that?
So I hang on.
Yeah.
So I for every week I wrote a delineation of the week,
Oh,
and for that one I wrote is someone in charge someone in charge talks a big game. People around them stop arguing out loud and start seething quietly instead. Partway through, that person loses their position or their grip on it, and something more shared and less centralized begins to take its place.
ooh.
But they don't admit it. They keep talking louder, more certain than ever, and probably still get paid for it. I can't wait to find out how that week goes for you based on what you just said.
It's funny, that's a very active week for, you know, Leo risings, I think. I'm not trying to make this all about me. I was looking at some of this other astrology, like,
You're a Leo rising. Of course you are.
is about me. No, because I'm in a comedy class, and then I'm filming on the 15th for this short film I'm a part of, and then my comedy class, we have our showcase, like, on the 18th. So it's a very active couple of days, like,
That's awesome.
yeah. I'm like, "Oh, boy,
Yeah.
okay." I hope I'm as Channy puts it, I hope I'm well-resourced. Like, I'm not
I,
exhausted.
I think you are well resourced. I think that if you are, again, going back to like the whole, I'm doing this for me, this is what I want to do stuff. I'm not doing this for validation. I'm doing it because I'm funny and I want to perform. Then, I mean, girl, you're going to kick so much ass. Duh. Duh.
Duh.
Duh. And we can say that for sure because the day before your showcase is the Mars Neptune square.
Yeah.
So we will be emotive over nothing. So we're going to be extra big.
Oh yeah.
Extra, like very good for a proscenium stage,
Yeah.
But we will also be able to like be on the lookout for people trying to prove their points with conviction instead of facts. It's like the louder I yell, the more right I'll be. Okay, but you're just saying the same stuff over and over without
you just turn the volume
anything
knob up.
And it's something like that. It doesn't matter what is actually being said, but if you look good and you sound good while you're doing it, that's what's going to count. That's what people are going to remember. People are going to remember if they feel inspired or if they feel entertained or if they feel lambasted, right? So I think that's something to consider. And people are also going to, I feel like this could also be a day where we are kind of crawling in the ground a little bit, where we need to look for a moral high ground.
Right. Yeah, and that's an interesting one because Mars rules Aries. And so Neptune is in Aries right now. And so it's just kind of like, and Mars is in an uncomfortable space in Cancer. So that Mars Neptune square is just, it's temporary. It's not going to last super long, but I think it is very waterlogged, sort of foggy. Like it's an energy leak too. You can feel kind of like deflated a little bit with it, but it'll we'll get over it. It's one day.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking at this other stuff like the 22nd, the sun enters Virgo, but the sun also conjoins the North Node, and then on the 25th, Mercury conjoins the North Node, and so those are interesting moments. Or I said North Node, I meant the South. Sorry.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. So the sun and Mercury conjoin the South Node. That's usually like, those can feel eclipsy. Those moments can feel like, oh gosh, there's something here. But it's also like, I don't know. There is definitely something that needs, like a swamp needs to be drained with that.
Yeah.
Like that's also, I think those can also feel deflate, where I was going with that. Like the sun in Leo conjoins the South Node. It's like, ugh, I'm ready to just put this thing behind me. I'm ready to just move on from it. And then Mercury does the same thing. And it's kind of just that feel needing to let something go and just move on from it. And by that point, we have Sun and Mercury in Virgo. And that I forgot that on that lunar eclipse, we also have Mercury Cazimi.
Yeah, we do.
And I like that for, again, though I hate to overuse this word, clarity. Like when you cry, it's a lunar eclipse in Pisces. It's like, I'm like, we're going to cry. When you cry, you also get clarity about what had you worked up, what you were frustrated about, what you were mourning, or what you feel particularly aggrieved about. And so I don't mind August 27th, even though it's an eclipse. It's like that Mercury Cazimi, with Mercury being in the sign of its exaltation. It's like, okay, I actually can do something about this, because it's Virgo, so it's very practical too,
Very clipboardy.
Yeah. The clipboard return.
Very spreadsheety about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, I think, this is during this Mercury Cazimi, Mercury is actually going to be on the far side of the sun. So I really feel like this is all about the messaging being amplified. Like, I understand that Kazemi is always about the message being amplified, and that's what it's about. It's a pure, loud form of Mercury,
Right.
when it's in the heart of the sun. But it really feels as though the message is going to be filtered through some sort of lens of power, or because it is Virgo, it's going to be nitpicked and meticulously worded,
Right.
so that there is very, very, very little room to misunderstand.
Right.
I think it's going to be very pointed, and it could potentially have something to do with something being removed for a grudge.
Yeah, because it also is a north node eclipse, that lunar eclipse. So it's a full moon. It is very much about release and something being let go, or something being concluding, right? Reaching a peak, nation. But it's a north node eclipse, so it also is about growth, and that thing that we are like, oh, we're moving in this direction. We got to let this thing go because we're moving more towards that. We've got to release this. And then that Kazemi is like you said, it's very pointed and very particular. And I think that the clarity that comes through, the message that comes through, we're not going to misunderstand it.
No.
It's like, oh, okay, that's what it is.
This is what's happening.
It could be a little, like, if we're looking at it in terms of our emotion, it could be a little critical, the thing that you're like, it's because you are a sad sack, like there's just some sort of reality.
Sometimes you have to self-reflect so that you can fix it.
Right,
I mean,
exactly. Sometimes you have to kind of, yeah, exactly. You have to get a little real with yourself to know why you feel a certain way about something, or what you're doing next, right? And so I think that's what we could expect for ourselves, but also what we can see collectively.
There is, to me, an element here of, because whenever I think of the sun and the moon, right, I'm always put into thinking about the Arabic lots, the Arabic parts, or the lots,
right,
and thinking about how a lot of fortune works versus a lot of spirit, and how fortune is the lot of the moon and spirit is the lot of the sun. These two things work together to talk about what kind of like what the hand is that we are dealt, and then how we're playing it. They have to work together. It is fate versus agency. This is what I have versus this is what I'm going to do with it. And this entire month, because it is an eclipse season, is going to be all about saying, okay, this is the best I have in front of me right now. I can sit and I can cry about it and wish that it was more, or I can make the choice to understand this is where I can do better. This is where I don't have to pay attention to anymore. I can put that down, and I'm actively choosing to go in this direction instead, because the moon as our body and the sun as our spirit have to work together. Our body is a reflection of our spirit. If we are depressed, we're going to look at. If our spirit is joyful, we're going to look at. And so the two of these bodies, the sun and the moon, and their cycle together, is really going to be illuminating on both the macro and the micro of exactly what system is not working anymore, what is failing. And then we either have to make the decision to say, this is not working, this isn't working, and we have to do it a different way. because that's what Virgo does.
Mhm.
Virgo is the one that says there's a lot of room to improve. So it's going to hurt when I say that we have to improve, but we're going to do it and it's going to be great. We just have to actually do the work. Thank you.
I have nothing to add.
And then no, it's when we say because earlier when I was quoting you for the South Node,
Mhm.
I wrote the Pisces Lunar Eclipse is a North Node eclipse, which means it's a gain that ends what came before by displacing it. So whatever we have, whatever is for sure right now,
Mhm.
whatever system we hold for sure right now, is we are gaining by that going away. The gain in Pisces will be related to the dissolved, the disenfranchised, refugees, the destitute, the confined, and everything that leaks past borders. That includes emotion, because we have to hold our emotion within ourselves. And what is going to be left over is a system that holds to account and is going to sort things out. Because again, this is Pisces, but Virgo is staring right down the gauntlet of it. It's like looking at the guts of everything.
I have one thing
So
to
yeah,
add.
go ahead.
Well, two things. Everything that she said is beautiful, and I have nothing to add to that. Just astro.
Except,
No, Mars is in Cancer at that time. It's close to this eclipse, and the moon
Mhm.
rules Cancer, so it's a very emotional eclipse. Feels. I'm trying to think what are some of these themes beyond just aggression and things like that related to Mars. Our desire,
motivation,
motivation. Yeah,
drive.
what you were saying about you know wanting. This is what I have. This is what I have in like sort of my toolkit, and this is what I can practically, realistically do with it. Beautiful. And then the other thing is it's a Jupiter ruled eclipse, and Jupiter is moving towards a trine to Saturn at that point. So again, we have this sort of commitment and like
Shaky
structure.
commitment.
Yeah, and the buttressing of okay, this is what I really need to like getting realistic about your growth. I hate it feels overused that word, but your expansion in this next year, right? Because we're looking at Jupiter and Leo, and what do I need to do realistically to make this thing amplify in my life? What do I need? What structure can I give this for myself? And then you have that Kazemi lovely sort of moment of get real, get practical. This is what you have, this is what you don't have, stop bitching about it.
Yeah.
And just say yes or no to it.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting way to end August.
Yes, it is. I think that, that we're going to feel like we want to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
We'll feel as though we're ready to move forward. And I think that there's going to be some frustration there.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden there's going to be some red tape that drops in and says,
Yep.
maybe you're not allowed to start right now. Saturn in Aries is in fall.
Yeah.
And it's not as meticulous as it wants to be. It's not as tedious.
And it's also at the mercy of Mars in Cancer for most of the time.
Right. Which is eclipsed by the sun.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So I think that there is, Saturn might be providing some red tape, but it's not going to last quite as long as maybe it should.
Right.
Because it's going to, I think that there will be some ineptitude and incompetence or just a lack of stability that prevents any sort of progress.
And I
Like anything that is put in is not going to last very long. Any blockage is not going to last very long.
and I think like definitely we're going to see that collectively, but if you want to prevent that in your own situation, you have to know what is a priority for you.
Yeah.
It goes back to what you were saying before. Like, if we are going in this many different directions, then we're going to encounter the blockages and the red tape, and we're going to feel frustrated and we're going to feel like unmotivated or disconnected from things because we don't have a clear direction that we're moving in. I saw a little note, I saw it on Pinterest where it's like, pick one priority, one, not four. And the word priority is actually just about a singular thing. It's not supposed to be pluralized. We're not supposed to have multiple priorities. We are supposed to have, a very like mono vision about this thing is important to me. And you should be
Right.
getting like 2 hours a day to it, because what we find ourselves doing, I know I speak from experience here, is okay, I want to do this thing. This thing is a priority, but I'm prioritizing 3 or 4 other things and letting that other thing that is actually meaningful to me fall by the wayside. And that's
Right.
where I think that's where we also can notice some of that Neptune and Aries, like fog around motivation and feeling like you don't have a purpose, or like there's a lot of that kind of stuff that can creep up when we aren't very clear about what we have, what we can use, and what we actually want. So it goes back to everything that you're talking about. Find what you want and do it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, that's a lot easier said than done, but everything takes time, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
for
nothing is
sure.
going to happen overnight. So August is going to make that very clear
Yeah.
to us.
Something that I had said is that, like, for just like the overall theme of August was that something that has been stalled gets the structure it needs to move forward, but
Mm,
that structure is built on the delay itself. So what we're seeing is actually just more buying time.
yeah.
We are, it's almost like Venus in Libra can be extremely decisive. It can also be indecisive. But this is where we can say we are lacking a commitment. And if we do want to commit to something, we have to understand that we can always change our mind.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between changing your mind and never having made a commitment to begin with.
Right. Or
Because
quitting
you,
just because you've encountered one obstacle.
right, exactly. So if, where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do something, you're going to figure out a way to do it. If you
Mhm.
don't want to do something, you will find every excuse until you can admit to yourself that you don't want to do it.
Right. I, f-
That
I
is
found
ultimately what I think this month is going to look like.
I found in my experience, when I just admit to myself that I don't want to do something, there's so much relief I feel,
Mhm.
because you kind of close that loop of the excuses that you're making. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because and it's like, I just don't want to go.
Yeah,
Or I don't want that thing.
yeah.
And,
And
and
that
so
can be good enough.
and that in itself is clarity. That in it of itself is a decision to
Mhm.
know. Like I think, we talk a lot about knowing what you want or figuring out what you want. Sometimes the knowing what you don't want is a start, because at least there, well, I know that this isn't the direction I want to head in. I might still be unclear about these other three, but at least I know that those two over there are just no longer for me.
It's not it.
Yeah. And so I think that's a way to work with August. I don't know. I was gripped though.
Figuring out what you want does with, I don't know either. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what you had said about knowing what you don't want is, I think, the biggest piece, because not being able to admit that you don't want something is huge, because you can at least say, okay, well, this is gross.
Right.
What if the opposite is something that I like?
Well, and it goes back to what you're
Who
saying
knows?
about the should. I think a lot of the time we don't pick, or we don't want to admit that we don't want something because we think we should want it, or someone
because it's something we were taught, or it was something that we were instructed, or it was just normalized somehow.
Right.
And as you get older, you start realizing, hey, by the way, that might not have been normal.
It also could be a goal that you had for yourself 10 years ago that just, you're like, I'm finally doing it now. And it just doesn't, you don't really care about it anymore. Like, it's just like, it's no longer for me. So whatever, how we,
And I think that there is something really to that, especially with Venus gearing up for her retrograde. I'm going to be writing a whole bunch about Venus retrograde. Because this one in particular is important. Venus retrograde is, this has only happened 2 other times in the last 100 years.
100 years.
So, so the last time Venus retrograded through Scorpio and Libra was 2018, and before that it was 2010. So we really have opportunities to see what we're doing with the different cycles as they come through with the Venus synodic cycle, and what those patterns are. And as soon as we're able to really dig into why that's been important somehow to us, once we find that pattern, we can maybe start taking a risk, because it'll be more calculated, and understanding that, okay, this is what I was doing then, and then this is what I was doing in 2018, and now I'm starting a new level of that same cycle. And it's pretty important.
To me, I see like that, the years that retrograde in Libra, it's funny how it connects to the midterms here.
Yeah, it does.
It always is like, I think of those scales, right? And how it's like the scales go from here to here. Each time, each of those years, it's like big swing over to here, where.
And with Libra, with the scales.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm just interested in its timing. But it kind of precludes the midterm election, but it's going to be interesting.
I think it sets it up, because this transit is going to be long. We're going to be so sick of Venus by the time Venus gets into Sagittarius.
Yeah.
It's just like,
we're just like, get out of here.
Yeah, please.
And it's going to be really loud in Sagittarius. So we're just like, go away already.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, but not rough. It's not going to be rough. It'll be rough, but it's not going to be rough. It's going to be opportunistic rough.
Yeah.
So I can lean into this and figure out something new about myself.
Right. And what I value.
Right. And where I am letting people have way too much of me, because that's a major Venus Libra thing.
I'm already like, oh, I see that in my life. It's not even retrograde yet. Now this was a very, very thorough look at August. I loved it.
Yeah. We've been at it for almost an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah. I loved your insights. I'm like, okay, I feel better about everything in August, talking it out.
You should. It's things will be tough,
Yeah.
but when the going gets tough, the tough take a nap, and then we get up and go do something else.
Exactly.
Know when to take a break. Like, honestly, know when to take a break is probably one of the better pieces of advice that my therapist ever gave me.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I realized just a couple days ago because I was working on I was doing some creative writing. And creative writing doesn't give you an instant feeling of success. A lot of the time you're working on something that this isn't quite lining up. This doesn't make sense. How am I going to do this? I stuck with it, but I realized like, wow, up to this point, I've gotten so kind of addicted to performance productivity. You know, like finishing a post for Substack done, I can put it out there. The sort of like hit of, oh, I put a TikTok video out there, and learning that about myself and being like, that's why part of it was such a struggle is because it wasn't an instant done, put it out of my mind, get it out there. But it's still work
Mhm.
that I do, you know? And it's like,
Yeah. I-
and knowing that it's like, it's okay to not have days where you are output, constant output, 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 output. Like how can you
100%.
have anything left to give if all you're doing is putting everything out there?
Yeah. And I think something that's really important to mention too is that, if you are a creative, if you are a performer, like it should go without saying it's okay to enjoy having an audience. It's okay to want to hold court if that's why you're showing up somewhere, but don't hog everything for yourself, especially if it's like at a social function or it's like if you're on stage, like you shouldn't be ashamed of something like that. You should be ashamed of taking up space or putting yourself out there as your most authentic self. A lot of times performance is actually dropping the mask.
Mhm.
Be okay with that. I don't think that we use the word performative in a way that is almost synonymous with narcissism.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's important that we mention that it's maybe it's okay to be performative, especially if you have Leo placements.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the things that I just absolutely love about Leo is that you I love that you can be mean to Leo and Leo knows that it's like it can be fun and it's a joke. Like any attention is good attention. Like I can tease a Leo. I can um just not be mean, but be a little mean. Be
You can roast them a little bit.
yeah, roasting is a great way to put it because it's still like, oh yes, I'm basking in the greatness that is myself.
Right.
Everyone should say more about me.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why I love Leo placements so, so, so much.
Right.
So don't, if you have that in you, if you have something in you that you want to share with someone, if it's creative or if it's performative, go for it.
Yeah.
But understand the line between healthy and not healthy.
Yeah. That's really all we're saying. It's not that you shouldn't share yourself or your talents or you shouldn't take up space or be in whatever spotlight you create for yourself. It's knowing whether or not you're doing that solely for external validation. And that
Right.
without that external validation, you feel nothing. You always need a crowd because the person in charge right now does that, and that's the unhealthy expression of it.
You're right.
Where it's like all the reporters going, "Hey, hey, hey, over here, over here." He just wants to hold court constantly, and treats social media as just a way to talk about whatever he should be processing somewhere else.
With a therapist.
Yeah. So don't be that. That's the negative performance.
Yeah. All right, Miss Camille. I think that about covers it.
I think so. I feel like we got a good thorough look at this month and I'm excited for everyone to see it.
What do you have going on this month? Anything special?
Mostly just work. So, you can always follow me on TikTok at Cosmic Cannibal Camille. I am starting to do a little bit more of my comedy stuff on my Substack, and that's cosmiccannibal.substack.com. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more of my stand-up comedy stuff, and I'm roasting the planets and stuff a little bit more. That's the new direction I'm doing for August because they need it.
With as much attitude as they have given us over the past
Yeah.
year plus,
Yeah.
girl, get them.
Yeah.
Get them. You can find me. I'm Jenny D at Astrology Uncensored. .substack.com. You can also find me as Jenny Two Hearts, Jenny Jenny, the number 2 hearts across social media. You can follow me on TikTok and subscribe for free, upgrade for more, but also join our Discord because we've been having a lot of fun just talking about current events, things that are going on, how different things are affecting us. That Discord is actually, it's small, but it's been a lot of fun so far. So
it's small but mighty. It's
small but mighty is yes.
It's a great place I've noticed where we can just kind of shoot the shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
In sort of a safe space, like you can have whatever idea or whatever's going on and you connect it to astrology, you get, everybody has like input, but it's not like on all the comment section of things. I always find that to be like, I don't want to share this here. So
yeah. And that's part of the reason why I created it, because I think it's really important that we have a space where we are like-minded people who understand astrology or we don't understand astrology.
Mm-hmm.
And we can start helping other people who don't understand astrology figure out how to think about it and approach it and learn to spot the patterns. And I mean, so far, like I said, I've been having a ball.
It feels like a Reddit community a little bit. Like it's just like everybody's helping out. And like I'm learning. Yeah. Like and I'm learning things just by reading what other people are saying in conversation with you, and it's just fun to hear what people in the UK are experiencing and how it's similar to what it's so fun. We have people all over the world.
Yeah.
It's great.
So I'm going to link the Discord to this. Make sure to join the Discord.
Yeah.
And be nice. Otherwise, I will kick you.
Yeah.
Too old. Yes. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much what we got going on right now. And I think this was really great. And we'll probably keep doing this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for our very first month ahead. And let us know in comments what you think. Bye, Cleo.
Bye, Jenny.
We'll see you later.